Hey folks, Todd here. Today we're going to show you just how easy it is to install the LS3 tonneau cover from A.R.E. on this 2022 Toyota Tundra. The tools I'll be using for this installation are a ratchet with a 7/16 and 1/2 inch socket and also a tape measure. You'll also want to have a friend to help you lift the cover onto the truck. Let's go ahead and get started. Okay, now starting out, we're first going to install our mounting brackets. Now everything I do here on the driver's side, we'll also be doing on the passenger side the exact same way. It's just a mirror image. So the first thing we're going to do, this truck has a deck rail system, so I'm going to pull the plug out of the end of the deck rail system. Now we're going to have some plates that are threaded on the inside from our kit. We're going to slide those inside the deck rail system. Now 2 of those plates are going to be for the rear bracket and 2 are going to be for the front. So I'm going to take my first plate and slide that up towards the front. We'll adjust that exactly where we want it later when we do the front bracket. Right now I'm just kind of getting them out of the way. And then the last 2 plates are going to be for the rear bracket. Now what we're going to do is find our rear left-hand side or driver's side bracket. This is what it looks like. We're going to have a strike plate that's attached to it that's going to be towards the tailgate. Also, you're going to notice there is a BL. It stands for back left. That's how we know we've got the rear driver's side bracket. What we're going to do, we're going to kind of hang it on top of the bed cap, and we're going to line up these holes to the plates that are behind it there. So once those holes are both lined up, we're going to take our hardware out of our kit. We've got a bolt with a lock washer and flat washer. I'm going to go through the bracket into the plate. We're just going to get it kind of connected for right now. We're not going to tighten it up because we want to be able to adjust this bracket. So do that on both of those locations. And next what we want to do is we want to be able to adjust the bracket front to back exactly where it needs to go. So we're going to take a tape measure, we're going to measure from the inside of the bulkhead back 40 1/4 inches to the front edge of this bracket. And we're going to adjust it to get to 40 1/4. All right, next what we're going to do, since we've got our bracket in place, we're going to go ahead and tighten these down. We're going to use a 1/2 inch ratchet and socket or just a wrench to snug these up. Don't need to over tighten them, just get it tight enough to where it collapses the spring-loaded washers, and we're good to go. All right, and also make sure that both sides of the bracket are all the way in and flush with the top of the bed caps. Now we're going to go ahead and move up to the front bracket. Now we've got the 2 mounting plates in the front, and we've got our front bracket. What we're going to use is this hole in the rear and this hole in the front. Now the driver's side front bracket, you're going to have an LF for left front. There's also a D on there for driver. So we're going to use these 2 holes. You'll also know we've got a couple of pegs and a threaded hole here. The threaded hole is going to be towards the front of the truck. So what we're going to do is line this up and get the brackets lined up to the holes. Go ahead and grab our hardware, get that started in there. And now for this, we're going to measure from the bulkhead back 18 1/8 of an inch. And once it's in place, we're going to go ahead and tighten down our hardware again with a 1/2 inch. And again, make sure these are all the way down. And we get our brackets nice and snugged up. And lastly, we can go ahead and take our plug and reinsert it back into the deck rail. Okay, now that we have the brackets installed on both sides of the truck, we're gonna go ahead and grab a second set of hands and lift the cover and put it onto the bed of the truck. But what I'm gonna do is show you how to line up the brackets on the cover to the front brackets on the truck. Just go ahead and grab it and put it on. All right. So you'll notice the front bracket, I've already got that taken loose from our packaging material. We've got a couple of slots in the bracket. What they're gonna do is they're gonna come down and they're gonna mate up with these pegs in the bracket that we attach to the truck. So those pegs are just gonna slide up in there so we can set it in place and then slide it forward and tighten down the knob. All right, now let's go ahead and hop inside, get everything lightened up, slid forward and tightened up. Okay, now that we've got the cover on top of the bed of the truck, we're gonna verify that these pegs are right inside the bracket. So if I lift up on this bracket a little bit, you can kind of see where the pegs are and where the bracket's coming down mounting. So once that is in place, what we're gonna do is we're gonna slide the cover forward, make sure it's good on both sides. We're gonna slide the cover forward. And then when that cover comes forward, the knob here, which moves in and out, we've got a threaded bolt attached to that. It's gonna line up to this threaded hole here. So let's go ahead and slide that forward. All right, now we can push the knob, get it started, and then just go ahead and tighten it down by hand and do the same thing on the opposite side. You'll notice that our brackets are completely engaged into the pegs. And do that on the opposite side and we're ready to attach the struts. Okay, so now we've got everything locked down at the front. We're gonna go ahead and lift it up at the back. This is going to allow us to install our lift struts. Now, we're gonna attach to this ball stud on the cover first. We got two ends on the lift strut. One end has a little red lever on it. We're not gonna use that on the cover. We're gonna use the part that does not have the lever on it. We're just gonna snap that right onto the ball stud and lift the other end up and attach that to the ball stud on the bracket. That's the part that has to have the red lever on it. We do that on both sides. All right, now just go ahead and snap it onto the ball stud. If you ever need to stow the cover, you just press the lever and the stud comes right off and it comes up and it will lock right into this position here. So we're just gonna go ahead and set it in place. Now we're ready to go. All right, now we're gonna go ahead and focus our attention on our latch strike at the back. What we're gonna do is loosen up our hardware for the latch strike. That's a 7/16 that we're gonna need for that. That way we can raise that latch strike up and snug it back down. Now I'm gonna start off in the highest position. And we're gonna do this on both sides. We're gonna bring down the cover and make sure that our latch strike lines up to a rotary latch. Once that's latched into place, if we need to adjust this rotary latch, that can slide back and forth. We just use a 7/16 on these two nuts right here, loosen them up, move it back and forth where we want it, and then tighten those nuts back up. Repeat the same on the opposite side, and then what we're gonna wanna do is close our tailgate and bring the cover down, make sure everything latches in place. And if you need to make any adjustments, moving the strike up and down will adjust the height of the cover in the back. But we're all done. Well, that concludes the installation. If you found this video helpful, make sure and give us a thumbs up. If you want to know more about the product, check the link in the description below. And as always, if you have any questions, call the experts or visit us online at RealTruck.com.